start trying to persuade somebody, if you don't ask the question, the answer will always be no. So by asking, you at least have a chance of them saying yes. Very good, Ken. And what was our other little point of persuasion, our little tip? What is going to be one of your best friends in trying to convince somebody of your idea? Tell them what they... Somebody finish my sentence. Tell them what they will. Tell them what they will get out of it. Because if you can speak to people's interest about themselves, very good, Bo. We learned some examples of, and we came up with some good examples of persuasive arguments. Very good. But if we can talk to people's self-interest, so that just means if we can tell them what they're going to get out of agreeing to your idea, and they like it, then you will be able to persuade anybody or almost anybody into almost anything. Oops, the camera's going sideways. There we go. So today, we're going to learn about the basics of persuasive writing. So the first thing I want to show you, and you'll want to take notes about this so that you can follow along with the examples we're going to be looking at. But first of all, I want to show you guys what we need to be looking out for when we see a piece of persuasive writing, or when we write a piece of persuasive writing. So this handout is called The Basics of Persuasive Writing, and I'll send this to your Zalo group after the class. So the key elements of persuasive writing. First of all, we need to look for something called a statement of position. And what that means is that is the sentence where you clearly state your viewpoint or your opinion on the topic. It should be very clear and very concise. So an example of that would be, I believe that our class should have a longer recess. So you might actually, you can actually relate this very similarly to the teal paragraph structure that we've been talking about. So the statement of position, think about that like the topic sentence. So I believe that our class should have a longer recess. Next up, we're looking for reasons. And in the teal paragraph, this is the same as our explanation. So these are the arguments that you will use to support your position. They should be logical and strong. So logical, we're just looking for them to make sense, be a good reason. So not just something like, oh, because I want it. It needs to be a logical reason that the reader will look at and go, I agree with that. And an example of a reason would be a longer recess would give us more time to relax and recharge, leading to better focus during lessons. Number 3, evidence. That's the exact same as in a teal paragraph. So this includes facts, statistics, examples, or one thing that we can include in a piece of persuasive writing that we shouldn't include in a debate argument is anecdotes, which just means stories from your own personal experience. So things you might have done or activities you were a part of, you can tell stories about that in a piece of persuasive writing, and that can be good evidence. And you want to make sure that your evidence backs up your reasons. They're going to make your arguments more convincing, and they're going to make it more likely that the reader will believe you. And an example of evidence would be studies have shown that regular breaks can improve student concentration and performance. And finally, you want to write your conclusion. And this is in a teal paragraph. This is just the same as your linking sentence. So this is where you restate your position and summarize your main arguments. You can also include a call to action here. And a call to action is just like a sentence that encourages the reader to do something. So it can be, for an example, therefore, extending our recess time is a beneficial move for our learning and well-being. Let's propose this to our principal. So we see here, the conclusion is the first sentence, and the call to action is let's propose this to our principal. So it's inviting you to, let's go and do this. So I've got here an example of a piece of persuasive writing, and I've separated it all by the sections. So do we have any questions about what we've just talked about before we move on to the example? Terrific. Let's keep going. So the statement of position. We should have a pet in our classroom. Our first reason would be a classroom pet can teach us responsibility. And the evidence for that argument would be taking care of a pet requires feeding, cleaning, and attending to its needs, which are all aspects of responsibility. Reason 2, interacting with pets has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety. The evidence for reason 2, several studies suggest that the presence of a pet can help lower stress levels. And our conclusion, having a classroom pet has numerous benefits for us, from teaching responsibility to providing emotional comfort. Let's discuss this idea with our teacher. So we see in that short piece of writing all of the ideas, all of the sections of the persuasive writing that we've just talked about. So let's recap what we've just talked about. So what is the first part of a piece of persuasive writing that we need to include? Remember, think about your teal paragraph structure. It's basically the same thing. So what is the first part of a piece of persuasive writing that we need?
The introduction.
Very good. And what does the introduction need to do?
The introduction, like we greet the audience, and we say our names.
We're not talking about debating for this one. We're talking about a piece of persuasive writing. So in our introduction, we need to do one thing. So what would we do in an argument if we were writing for a debate, but without introducing ourselves? What do we need to do?
We said that it is true or false.
Good. We need to let the audience know, or our reader know, what our viewpoint is, what we're going to be talking about. Very good. What is our next? What do we need to do next in a piece of persuasive writing?
The reason.
Very good. We need to provide reasons. Very good, Stella. So we need to provide reasons to support our argument or to support our position. And what do we need to do next? What do we need to provide with our reasons?
Advice.
Not advice.
The conclusion.
Nope, that comes last. What do we need to provide with our reasons?
Topic and main idea.
No, we need something to help us prove our ideas. How would we prove our ideas?
Evidence.
Evidence. Very good, Bo. So after we've provided evidence to back up our reasons, what do we need to do at the end?
Conclusion.
Very good. We need to write our conclusion and summarize our point of view. Very good, guys. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of persuasive writing. And I want you to point out with me. We're going to look for the statement of position or the introduction. We're going to point out the reasons. We're going to point out the evidence, and we're going to point out the conclusion. So let's do it. So these are just a couple of examples that I wrote up for this class. So our first one is why we should have an extended recess time. So I'm going to read it for you once, and then we're going to look for all of those parts of the piece of writing. Why we should have an extended recess time. Every day we look forward to our recess time, right? I believe that our class should have longer recess. One reason is that a longer recess would give us more time to relax and recharge. After all, everybody needs a break. Plus, did you know that studies show regular breaks can improve student concentration and performance? Another reason is that we could have more time for our favorite outdoor games. So isn't it a great idea to extend our recess? let's propose this to our teacher. Okay, so who wants to tell me where our statement of position is? Who? So where is our statement of position? So just to first of all, just point out the title of this piece of writing is why we should have an extended recess time. So that is not, so that's just a title. We're not talking about that for now. So first of all, we're looking for our statement of position. Ken, did you? First gap, Bo, can you explain that for me, please? Do you mean this part here?
Yeah.
Ah, no, that's not our statement of position, because that's asking a question. That is that's one of the techniques that I talked about in my persuasive writing workshop. That's asking questions to engage the audience. So I saw Stella said the second gap. So Stella, did you mean this one here? Very good. Now, why did you think that that one was our statement of position?
I think the second gap is the one because I think that after the title it's the first gap is I think it's only a question because it's in a question mark. So I think it's the second gap, and also it is talking about the topic and the reason why. It's starting to talking the reason why. So that's why I think the second gap is the one.
Very good. So you are correct when you say that the second gap is our statement of position because it talks about the topic of the conversation. I believe that our class should have a longer recess. That was correct. Well done. However, the next sentence goes on to describe our next section. So what are we looking for now? After we look for our topic of our statement of position, what are we looking for next? Ken?
It is reason.
Very good. So our reason comes right after our topic of statement. So here's our reason. Very good. So I did a little bit of a trick here. And this sentence here This is not evidence. This is more like a rhetorical device. And a rhetorical device is a statement or a question that doesn't need an answer to it because it's obvious. It's just put there to make you go, yeah, you're right. Everyone deserves a break. So it's just another way to pull the reader onto our side and agree with us. So once we have given our reason, what are we looking for next? Ken?
It is evidence.
Very good. And where do we find the evidence in this piece of writing? Ken?
I think it is the fourth graph.
Very good. So I think I saw Bo. There we go. Very good, Ken. So Bo answered the question as well. So I'll ask this question to Bo. Why do you think that the fourth gap is our evidence? What about this fourth gap makes you think that it's evidence?
Because I see the question about it's mean like evidence.
Not necessarily the question, but it's the first part of the sentence here. Did you know that studies show?
Yes.
Because now here, by saying that studies show, we are talking about studies that have been done that support this argument that we're making. So whenever we mention a piece of information that we're not writing about, but we mention it to support our argument, that's when we're talking about evidence. But well done, you and Ken did get that right with the fourth gap. Now, what is below the evidence? What's this?
Second reason, right?
Very good. Another reason. So we're going back to a reason. Now, this second reason here, I put that in there to demonstrate that not every reason needs evidence to back it up, because we're just saying another reason is that we could have more time for our favorite outdoor games. So we don't need a study or statistics to prove that reason. That's actually more to do with going back to my second point of persuasion, where I said, speak to people's self-interest, because this is answering the question, what do you stand to get out of agreeing with my idea? Well, you can have more time to play your favorite games at recess. So that's just talking to people's self-interest a little bit there. And finally, What is at the end here? All right, I'm going to ask Conan this one. Conan, what is this last line called?
Conclusion.
Very good. And as a second question for anybody that wants to try and answer, what do we call this little bit that I've put in the brackets? Remember pardon? What was that, Conan?
It's pardon.
Still didn't hear that very well. It was very soft. Yeah, type it in the chat for me. No, not a pattern. It's a call to. What is it making people do? Or what is it trying to convince people to do? Not accept it. It's a call to do it. So it's telling us, let's go and talk to our teacher about this. So it's a call to action. It's asking you to take action and do something. So it's a call to action. Okay. So we've got one more example to have a look at. And we are looking for the same things this time. We're just looking at a piece of writing on a different topic. So first of all, I'll take the first couple of examples. So we've got our title so that everybody knows what we're talking about. We've got, does anybody remember what this type of question is called? This type of question, this is a tricky one. So it's a rhetorical question. So this type of question is used to make the reader think. So have you ever thought about how we could make our classroom more eco-friendly? How could we make our classroom more eco-friendly? That's what it's designed to do. Get the reader thinking and get them engaged in this piece of writing. So what do we have next? What do we have next? So the second gap, what's that bit called?
The position.
Very good. This is our statement of position. Very good, Bo. What do we have next? What's our third gap?
First reason.
Very good. Where did Jin go? Why is he in the waiting room now? So, good. We've got our reason next. And whereabouts is our Bo?
The second reason, right?
What are we forgetting?
Evidence.
Good. And where's our evidence?
It's under the second third guy is, did you know that?
Very good. So we've got our evidence right there. Very good. So what comes after the evidence for the first reason? Bo, you're smashing this today. Good job.
Second reason.
Very good. We've got we're back to our reasons. So again, not every reason needs proper evidence. Or actually, no, I'm thinking in terms of a debate there, persuasive writing. So evidence can just be another statement in a piece of persuasive writing. So our evidence for this second argument is fewer chemicals and more plants can mean cleaner air. So in this case, our evidence is just a very obvious statement, a statement that is very obviously true. So no chemicals in the air and more plants around is going to mean cleaner air in the classroom. So what is the final part of our piece of persuasive writing here?
Sure.
Very good. And finally, what is the second part of the conclusion? What do we call that? This part here? What is it? Ken, yes.
It is go to do it.
Very good. Very good. It's our call to action. Let's do it. Very good, guys. Good job. So we see that even in just these short little pieces of persuasive writing, we see all four of these key parts of a piece of persuasive writing. And even so, and even in these short pieces, we also have a couple of extra we have a couple of extra parts to it. So we've got the title. So the title that invites people to want to read on. And we immediately start with our rhetorical question that gets people thinking about what you're going to say. And then it goes in with our statement of position, our reasons, our evidence, and our conclusion, which in this case happens to include our call to action. So, I'm back. So, what are we all thinking about these pieces of persuasive writing? Do we all understand each of the individual sections?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, next up, we're going to have a go at coming up with our own creative writing, our own piece of creative writing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open a blank Word document and I'm going to share it on the screen. And we are going to write our own piece. So first of all, I want you guys to come up with a topic. What would we like to do a piece of persuasive writing about? So all right, so let's think of an example. What is something at your school that you would like to change? Maybe you would like some more books in your library, or maybe you would like the canteen to change its menu. Ken?
I think school needs more sport.
Pardon?
I think school needs more sport.
You think school needs more sport? Okay, so I'm going to write that up here. Good idea, Ken. So the topic of this is going to be our school needs more sport. Okay, so first of all, we need to come up with our statement of position. So our topic is our school needs more sport. Somebody come up with a statement of position. What is our position on this topic going to be? Little hint, it's basically the same as our topic. Come on, guys, put your thinking caps on. What would our statement of position be? Did you actually just put your thinking cap on, Stella? So, our topic is our school needs more sport. So, what would our statement of position be? So that's more of a reason than a statement of position, Conan, but good try. That would be another reason. So our statement of position would be something like, I think that our school needs. Why am I typing up your assignment, your classwork, guys? You're supposed to be thinking of this one. I think that our school needs. I think that our school needs good, more sports. So, I think that our school needs more sports. Good. Our next section is a reason. So, what could a possible reason be that we need more sport? Oh, looks like Conan's got an idea. I see those fingers typing pretty fast. Good. So our school lacks, oh, I'll try and, I'm going to take your message. I'm just going to slightly reword it. So good. So our school doesn't have many choices of sport for students to play. Good. Now we're starting to provide evidence too, Bo. Well done. So our school doesn't have many choices of sport for students to play. If we had more choices, I think that more students would want to play sports. Now we go into our evidence. I think that this is important because studies have shown. Remember, we want to offer our evidence as facts that other people have spoken about, and we are using them to back our own arguments up. So something like, I think that this is important because studies have shown that regularly playing sport is good for your health, and being outside allows us to breathe in more fresh air. Good. Good for your health. I'm going to add that bit in too, Conan. It's good for your health and your body. And being outside allows us to breathe in more fresh air. Okay. So, what comes next? What comes next, guys? Ken.
It is second reason.
Okay, let's come up with a second reason. What's another reason that we can think of that our school should get more sports? What's another reason that our school should offer some more sports to its students? Very good, Bo. So, another reason for our school to offer more choice of sports to its students is that playing sport has been proven to increase confidence, mental alertness, and self-esteem. Bleh. Okay, very good, guys. Hey, there's no cheating in this today, because all I care about is that we learn this basic structure. That's the important thing today. So if we all learn that, doesn't matter if we look on the internet for the answers to the questions, we just need to make sure we know the structure. Okay, someone tell me what comes next. Somebody tell me what comes next. Ken.
It is the conclusion.
Very good. the conclusion. So, what could we say for the conclusion of this piece of persuasive writing? Let's take another quick look at one of our examples. So we've got this example here. So isn't it a great idea to extend our recess? Let's propose this to the teacher. Or we have our other example. Therefore, wouldn't a green classroom be a wonderful change? Let's propose this idea to our teacher and classmates. So, what could we write for our conclusion? Very good. So, we need to tie our conclusion back to our reasons. So we could say something like, therefore, let's offer the students of this school more sporting choices to help them stay healthy. So the way that I wrote this one, actually, yeah, good point. So I'll reword that. So therefore, our school should offer its students more sporting choices to help them stay healthy. So at a school, I think the best person to talk to would either be the principal or the head of the sports department. So I think for this one, let's just say our principal. Let's go talk to the principal. Very good work, guys. So as we can see here, we have written we've written a good little piece of persuasive writing here, and we've included all of the key elements. Our statement of position, our first reason, the evidence, our second reason, and our conclusion. Now, one final point about this. Each example that we've seen and this piece that we've written, so each example that we've seen and each piece that we've written has included two reasons. The first reason has included evidence. The second reason is just a bit more anecdotal, a bit more of just a story that everybody knows. So if we have a good enough first reason, we might not even need a second reason. Or we might want to include 3 reasons, 4 reasons, if we can think of enough good reasons. So as long as the reasons that need evidence have it, and the reasons that don't need evidence don't have it, as long as we follow this general structure for our persuasive writing, we're going to write pretty good pieces. So good work today, guys, with coming up with our answers. Well done. And that is a lot of big stone head statue things. So, moyai, that is a lot of moyai. So, well done, everybody. Fantastic work. Your homework for this persuasive writing class is going to be use that structure that we talked about and write me a piece of persuasive writing. Just make sure that it's a topic that we haven't spoken about today, but otherwise you're free to come up with it yourself. You can pick your topic, you can pick your point of view. Just remember those 4 crucial parts of the persuasive writing process. So let me just double check my lesson plan here. Okay, so in our next lesson, we're going to be taking this idea of persuasive writing a little bit further, and we're going to be looking at it in a bit more detail. So yeah, your homework is just create a piece, a simple piece of persuasive writing. And that's a lot more moye. So I'll see this class on Friday for our next persuasive writing lesson. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. See ya.
Toodaloo.